next bit of news. Alden Gonzalez reported yesterday that Shohei Ohtani is going to keep DHing for the Angels, which is pretty wild. I mean, because we don't really have any comparisons here since nobody else can pitch and hit like this. But the Angels are on the road now for the Mets. They're going to be in Philly. We're close by. And they're going to take on Oakland. And he's not going to pitch the rest of the season because he's got a torn UCL. And he's probably going to need Tommy John surgery at some point to get past that. But he's still going to play. And his free agency is going to be super interesting. And just to kick it back to what you were talking about for 1 sec, I feel much better about the direction of the Nationals than I do about the Angels. I mean, this is like the ultimate sob story. They load up a little bit for him. It didn't do anything. They're still not good. They're not going to make the playoffs. Now their superstar, who gives them hope to watch just for the last couple months and have something super entertaining and historic, is going through it. He can't pitch anymore. He's still going to hit. It's like, you're ripping off Band-Aids one by one until he leaves for another ball club. And for him personally, Kratzy, I don't really know what to say. I don't have the medical opinion. The only thing I will say is when Ken Rosenthal comes on, one of his colleagues, Evan Drellick, wrote an article yesterday about he consulted with doctors who said if he gets Tommy John surgeries because he wants to pitch again in the future, he should sit out in 2024. Now, if that's the case, that is going to rock his price tag and also just rock him. I don't know how he's going to treat that. And he might have team doctors that advise otherwise. So I'm very curious. I've heard some other people mention, hey, this is a right-handed pitcher with the elbow issue there. It's a left-handed swinger. If he wears a brace, which he usually does, the biggest problem could be like the hyperextended elbow or something, but that brace helps to keep it in. This is where it starts to get a little too tricky for me to be able to comment. I'm just kind of like repurposing smarter people's thoughts and trying to figure out what actually makes sense for him. And we'll get Ken to comment on it. But what do you think about him at least doing the hitting thing for another 6 weeks?
I think it's great. I also think there is an exact replica of what happened. Him tearing his UCL and getting Tommy John surgery, and he returned in May. The last time he did it, he got it at the end of the season. He got it on October 1st. So he has had this, and I think he knows how soon he can come back. The interesting part is if he had it in October and he came back at the beginning of May, couldn't he have it at the beginning of September and come back at the beginning of April?
See, that's why I like you. I had the same exact thoughts back when I was on MLB. I said that over and over. And if you actually look back then at why it didn't happen, it was mostly just because he wanted to play the season out.
Which I think it sounds like now.
Yes, it's happening again. And I remember back then I was like, but wait, you're not going to have him for the first month and change of the season. That doesn't make sense. But I agree with you on that front.
And a month isn't a big deal. A month isn't a big deal in a season.
If you sign with Seattle and you don't win the division next year, it is a big deal. But yes, I understand. He's got to worry about himself a little bit, and he wants to play this out. And maybe he wants to see also like how he can handle this as a hitter for now. And I don't know, like, is the decision definitely in the beginning of October? I'm going to go under the knife and then I'll still hit and then I'll come back as the pitcher. And also, who am I signing with? And who am I working with in terms of a medical staff, which is things that we don't really think about most of the time. He is not making all of the calls and getting all of the opinions on his own. He's not a freaking MD. And also, at this point, do you want to listen to the Angels or do you want to go somewhere else and listen to their people?
So many conspiracy things. Like, what if he loves how the last Tommy John surgery went through? Chris Medlin got Tommy John surgery, rehabbed, got a second one, rehabbed with the Braves, and it was just not going well. He was like, terrible. And then he got his third one after coming back, and he rehabbed with the Royals and was like, night and day. He goes, they were digging in there. They were breaking up the scar tissue. He said, my first day throwing, the first time through was terrible. The next time through, when I was with the Royals, he was like, nothing. It feels tremendous. So it's something that rehab stuff really, really matters. And so I think this is the intriguing part for me. Not only is his value going to go down, and Ken's article says he's still going to get $500 million. So to me, my question would be, what is he going to get $600 million before? $650? I don't know. But his value is going to go down. Whatever you say, I have a hard time arguing with that. But my thing is, have there been more opportunities for other teams now? Because not only because his value's going down, but the Dodgers were always a front runner. What if he sits there and is now looking? Hey, what's your rehab stuff? Who has rehab a second Tommy John with you? And they're like, we haven't had a second one yet. Oh, we have Walker Buehler. We can talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
Or he talks to the Rays. I'm not saying the Rays are gonna.
No, they're definitely not signing him.
They're not signing him, but you know what I mean. There's more people and there's more things that go into this, and the whole him playing also brings up the question: is he going to get Tommy John? Everything I hear, Fletcher came on the other day and was like, "This guy was worried about his legacy. He wants to be this guy that pitches and hits." To me, I think he's going to come back and pitch, but it really is an intriguing thing, and I really think his contract's going to have some type of opt-out clause, but
it'll definitely have an opt-out. Yeah.
That's going to be involved with pitching, though.
I think he was going to have an opt-out regardless, just based on the competitiveness of the next team that he signs with. I mean, I think the Dodgers have proven that they're going to be a contender every year. For example, if he signs with Seattle, there are still questions in terms of how much more that team will spend. Will they be a consistent winner, right? Even though he likes some aspects of that team. I thought, just aside from this injury stuff before it happened, if he signed with a team like Seattle, he'd say, cool, I'll do this. We're going to sign for 7 years, whatever, massive amount. But I want an opt-out after year 2 or something. I want to make sure this is going on the right track and you guys are continuing to add and make a big deal out of this. So a lot to get to. Let's continue it when we get to Ken Rosenthal in about 10, 15 minutes from now. Let's hit our first poll question of the day. The team that will not make the NL wild card. And you can get involved here with that QR code on your screen on Stadium. Otherwise, watchstadium.com/foul territory. The team that will not make an NL wild card. Just give me one team where you're watching them right now and you're like, I don't see it.